Hey guys, Zach from All Strength Training. I'm going to take you through what is currently one of my favorite mobility drills. This is going to integrate some stuff for the hips and stuff for the spine. So a lot of people who are tight in the hips are also tight in the spine. So a super complementary drill. This is a really good drill to be doing for any sort of like unilateral pulling in the upper body, so like rowing stuff where we need to really bank on the hips being able to stay nice and stable, or for lower body unilateral stuff, single leg deadlifting, split squatting, step ups, anything where we need both the spine and the hips to be able to access their full range of motion so that we don't end up compensating for one when we're supposed to get range from the other. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna blend two fairly common drills together. We're going to take a pigeon stretch, which is often used to lengthen out the glutes, and then we're going to take a thread the needle stretch, which is often used to gain some thoracic rotation. So these are both single-sided rotational drills, but we're going to try to kind of almost treat this like how a staggered stance works when you walk. You've got one side, the low back, the QL, and the lats are functioning on one side, and on the other side you've got the glute maximus and glute medius kind of working just to propel us into like a walking position. So these is like, it's going to be like a left side glute, right side QL sort of pattern, and then we're going to flip it around. We're going to actually use an incline bench instead of going on the floor for two reasons. One, I think it makes it a little bit easier to access some more range of motion because the floor can almost make it feel a little bit too restricted. Two, I think a lot of people who need this probably lack enough mobility to really do it right when we're doing it on the floor. So I'm using an incline bench. I'm just going to position my foot up here into a pigeon. So I've got my whole shin on the bench, my knee all the way down to my ankle. We're positioned here. I'm going to move my back leg back until I can get my hips low enough that I can start to feel some of that length coming off the glute over here. Now what I want to do is I want to rotate, so I'm bringing my chest in line with this knee. I want to really get like glute medius, like some of the lateral hip muscles. I don't want to stay just dead center here, because now when I go into my stretch, it's going to be just a little bit too much in the glute max and not enough in the glute medius. And again, I want that kind of staggered stance, very stable, very lot of range of motion, accessible kind of concept. So I'm going to get here. I'm rotating so that my chest is slightly beyond this knee. And I'm going to drop my elbow down onto the bench. Once I'm here, I'm going to take this back leg and just walk back as far as I can, so I'm in a really good glute stretch position. Now with my free hand, I'm going to go into a thread the needle. The way I'm going to go into a thread the needle is I'm going to try to reach myself underneath the bench. I'm going to rotate as far as I can. Now what I want to be really careful of is I don't want to take my body this way when I'm reaching, because I'm going to actually lose what I have going on this left glute. So if my forearm is here, I'm going to really focus on keeping my hip over on this side and almost shoving my glute almost into the side of the bench. So that way when I'm rotating, it's like I'm going two opposite directions to get that rotational stretch. So I'm forcing my left hip back to the left. I'm driving my right shoulder out and to the right. So I get this right QL and mid-back stretch, and I get this left glute medius stretch. Now you can do this a couple of ways. You can just pull yourself under the bench and just hang out into a stretch and just take really deep diaphragm breaths and try to really swell your diaphragm out and just hold this position. Or you can do more of a conventional thread the needle concept. Exhale as we go this way. Inhale and add some rotation the opposite direction. And exhale. And inhale. Now my personal preference is just to kind of hug the bench and just let my weight sink. So that way I can almost pull myself into some extra rotation. But you can play around both directions, kind of see what you think. So obviously make sure that you do both sides. But like I said, applications for this would be a lot of like your unilateral split stance things. Single arm bent over row, split squat, walking lunge, single leg RDL, stuff like that. So give this a try. If you like it, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys next time.